Is this really necessary to talk about? I don't know. But we're going to dive into some of these notes regardless because I did think it was interesting. This conversation is not dying. We are seeing more and more information be revealed or slowly given to us over the course of the past few days. And like Rick Dhaliwal said on Donnie and Dolly earlier this week, we might not ever know the full story as to what went down. We might not ever figure it out until J.T. Miller, former Vancouver Canuck and current New York Ranger, sits down and writes his book one day. We may not ever figure out what happened after the Nashville game. This show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. I want you to head over to their website. It's the first link in the description. If you need a VPN, you can save some money, get some free months, and support this channel all in the process. But in this video, we're diving into an Elias Pettersson trade update. We are going over some extra thoughts from folks in the know and folks around the Vancouver Canucks' recent trade situation with the Rangers, starting out with what Elliotte Friedman said on today's 32 Thoughts podcast about J.T. Miller and the leave of absence, which had taken place after he got benched in a game against the Predators. Elliotte said this: "The Canucks had the Nashville game, and whatever happened after that game, I've heard a couple of different versions. Nobody will confirm it, so I'm not going to say it. But whatever the case was, Miller went on his leave." Elliotte basically confirming what the streets have been saying for weeks, that something happened after the Nashville game. Do you mean he wasn't on a heroic leave of absence for stress? Fast forward to 7:56 and watch and listen to Miller trying to direct Petey. Miller took his leave of absence after the game. I'd venture to bet this was the last straw, and he probably had words post-game. People are speculating that he got into it with Tocchet or whatever. People were saying whether or not he had gotten into it with the video coach. I don't know. We don't really have any concrete information as to what went down, so people are just kind of spewing their own ideas. Even Rick Dhaliwal said similar things, that he had been hearing a whole bunch of different conversations and different stories from different people about, oh, this is what happened. Oh, JT and the Nashville game, the coaching staff, somebody went after somebody. Like, we don't really know anything about the details, so we're just not going to confirm nor deny anything. But apparently, something might have happened. And shortly after, JT took his leave of absence from the team. And this was a really interesting talking point, how Miller, upon his return to the Canucks lineup in December, was very quick to shut everything down around his leave of absence. Now, of course, it's a leave of absence. He doesn't have the obligation to tell everybody what went down, but the way in which he had shut down those conversations, it did seem very defensive, may I say? Like, oh, I'm not going to talk about it. No, I'm not going to talk about it. Not going to talk about it. Not going to bring it up. And I don't want to say, like, you know, anything is for sure, but normally when there are leave of absences, I'd say for the most part, we usually figure out the reason why. Like, oh, somebody took a leave of absence because their father passed away, or because they're going through some certain thing and they gave a little bit of an overview, but they didn't dive too deep into it. But at least we understand where they're coming from. Something was going on. But for Miller, it was like, nope, not going to talk about it. Not one bit. And with all the extra speculation that something did happen with the Canucks internally after the Nashville game, it just gets a lot more interesting. And of course, until we see JT Miller's memoir in 20, 30 years, we might not ever figure out what actually happened on this night. Continuing on with Canucks news and notes, though, we did have ourselves some extra conversations about Canucks trade updates. We had spoken about Josh Norris in the Red Wings opportunity video and how he's going to be out of the lineup for a few weeks. This is indeed a player the Canucks had a lot of interest in. It was posted about by Taj and by a whole bunch of other people that, hey, Josh Norris is Quinn Hughes' best friend from college, and there might have been a lot of interest for Vancouver, so we'll see if this ends up shaking things up and changing things up. JP Barry says that Quinn Hughes wants to go to the Four Nations tournament. This is JP Barry, the agent, speaking on Donnie and Dolly earlier today. Friedman was also on the show to talk about the Elias Pettersson trade update. It sounds like the Vancouver Canucks are dialing things back in terms of trade talk on Elias Pettersson. They want to see how things look and how Petey reacts now. If you had been paying attention to the YouTube channel, you would have seen me uploaded this video just a few hours ago of Elias Pettersson and how, let's just say, lackluster he has been point-producing-wise in the 2 games ever since Miller got traded. The guy has 1 point in 2 games. Miller, on the other hand, has 4 points in 2 Rangers games, so he's looking a lot better than PD is right now, but we will wait and see to evaluate Elias Pettersson further, because it is true, he has been getting a good chunk of disrespect from this fan base, warranted or unwarranted. You could make that choice yourself, but Pettersson has not been able to live up to any of the expectations he has had bestowed upon him by himself, by the Canucks fans, by the Canucks management, so we'll have to wait and see. For now, though, it does look like the Canucks are in a spot where they want to just hold on a little bit. They don't want to go too deep into it. They don't want to immediately trade the guy right now. They want to see if he's able to bounce back. Sounds like they're delaying the inevitable move. Yeah, okay, I can understand that perspective. You can get an Adam Fantilli, you do it. Otherwise, you wait, or you don't do it at all. I did think that this perspective needs to be talked about a little bit more because it just hammers down the point home, you know? The Canucks are not going to take their foot off the gas pedal if Pettersson continues to struggle. Here are some other comments made by Elliotte Friedman, and this was all talked about as well by Patrick Alvin. Friedman said his understanding was salary retention in the first JT Miller trade with the Rangers was the holdup. Despite this, though, Alvin told the media that salary retention never came up. So, again, another piece of information that we, as the general public, they didn't want us to know about. So, Patrick Alvin, you could go out there and say that he is a liar, but at the same time, none of this stuff is particularly new. We always knew that Canucks management was going to be in a tough spot to reveal information. Friedman also says the Canucks wanted a prospect that wasn't signed by the Rangers. Arthur Stables reported that it was Drew Fortesk, New York Rangers' top D prospect. And seems like the Canucks were not able to get him. They got Mancini instead. That is how the trade went down. Friedman says that one team told him Vancouver wasn't thrilled about moving their own first-round pick this year, unless it was really worth it. And I guess with this package, you know, JT Miller with Erik Brannstrom and the prospect going over to New York, seems like the Vancouver Canucks got around trading their own first-round pick. They traded away the Rangers' first-round pick for Marcus Pettersson, but that was it. They really just came into this trade and out of this trade with Miller, Desharnais, Heinen, Brannstrom all out, bringing in the new guys, Mancini, O'Connor, Hedl, and then, of course, Marcus Pettersson. And then finally, let's go over on to Rick Dhaliwal, because he did have some extra quotes. JT Barrie, the agent, went out there and spoke about the Miller and Pettersson feud. It went on for way too long. So yeah, I guess even the agents are getting involved here, getting their 2 cents in. Barrie said this about Hughes' injuries. He's got bumps and bruises, but it's nothing serious. I also don't see Quinn Hughes missing out on the 4 nations. So anybody who is looking to see Hughes suit up for Team USA with JT Miller against Elias Pettersson, obviously that seems like it's still on the table. Barrie then spoke out about Hughes signing elsewhere in 2 years. People need to settle down. It's far away. He loves being a Canuck. So for now, doesn't look like Quinn is going to head over to New Jersey, but things can change as the days and years go on. Great interview with JP Barrie, yeah. Elliotte Friedman said this on Elias Pettersson. Sounds like they want to see how things look and how he reacts now. He also believes the Canucks are getting to UFA Marcus Pettersson's agent pretty quickly here on an extension. So with that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about all these extra Canucks news and notes, how Elliotte Friedman spoke out about the Pettersson trade talk, how JT Miller, the situation against Nashville, is also being discussed here. It's not going to go away. We're probably going to have this moment serve a purpose in Canucks lore and history for years to come, but these are the small little tidbits that we are gathering about this situation. So thoughts in the comment section below about the Canucks, the Hughes talk, the PD talk, the Miller talk. What are your opinions about it? Leave it in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.